Hey everybody, Chris here. As if we didn't think Dogecoin was already a legitimate cryptocurrency, now it's even more legit. Also, we're going to talk about the latest news and the charts for Bitcoin, ETH, and the rest of the crypto market. So what's going on? Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my new videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. And we're looking at the charts during our live streams, talking about what's going on with privacy coins, Zcash, Dash, Monero, and the rest of the crypto market. So make sure that you're subscribed, you got your notifications on so you don't miss a live, but let's get into it now. What's happening with Bitcoin and Doge? Let's get into it. Let me show you the charts and news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here with the latest Dogecoin chart at 14.4, just under 14.4 here. And this was a bit of a pullback that we had last night. This was Asian market trading just after my live stream ended. We were looking at a double top here, and as we zoom out, we previously had a double bottom back here on Thursday and Friday of last week, and that double bottom was followed by straight sideways trading on Saturday into Sunday. That's kind of a typical weekend thing. Look at the volume. The volume becomes almost nothing over the weekend. And then on Sunday, we had a little volatility, dumped down, took out leveraged longs, came back up, took out shorts before dropping even lower for more leveraged longs. So I was thinking, hey, we get a double top here, so let's bring it up higher and take out more shorts. But instead, the Asian markets dumped it. So same thing happened with Bitcoin, right? Not quite to the extreme of Doge. We had a higher high, so it really wasn't a straight sideways double top because we thought there was more buying of Bitcoin, a rotation that we had on Wednesday from stocks into Bitcoin. And all the Bitcoin maxis on crypto Twitter are like, oh, the rotation has started. It's all going to go into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to follow the M2 money supply, and we're going to go to all-time highs. And I'm just like, well, slow down. Slow down, right? Because the Asian market brought Bitcoin down as well. So Bitcoin is in the red, Doge in the red. ETH is holding pretty strong though. ETH is actually right above the top of its brown box, a brown box I created for ETH. Again, just to track the trading of ETH from where we were before. And this goes way back. And ETH is holding up okay. So it looks like there is some positivity for ETH trading. Even though there was a pullback, it recovered all the way back up. So ETH is looking strong right now. You know, a lot of people thinking, well, Solana, right? Solana is going to be great, and Solana's not holding up as well. Solana isn't quite holding like Bitcoin and ETH are, especially ETH. But we're watching Doge again, 14.4 this morning, and we'll check in on its latest price during my next live stream Thursday afternoon. So where do we start? Well, and we talk about poly markets, right? And sort of this inside traders, right? People who know like what's going on and they're making so much money on poly market. Well, somebody put in a $40,000 bet yesterday that the U.S. strikes Iran by January 14th, 2026. They put $40,000 in on poly market thinking they had the in, right? And the United States was definitely going to be sending missiles into Tehran. And that didn't happen. It was a big fake out. All this talk about Trump, right? And like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And it didn't happen, and they lost $40,000. So many times we see like being posted time and time again, like all of these people making money on poly market, and then this guy loses $40,000. So not everyone can predict the future like Barron is the joke. And it's just like, be careful out there. If you think something is certainly, most definitely going to happen, that usually means that it doesn't. But so we begin, Dogecoin dropping 4%, traders sell into strength. What does this mean? Well, that was just the sell-off of the Asian market, bringing the price down, taking out leverage longs. Again, we look at the heat maps during our live streams, so make sure you join in because that usually tells a story of where I think prices are going to go as we follow those heat maps. So we'll be checking in on that. The switch up though, Wall Street going from crypto to gold. We've been watching this for a while, not only gold, but also silver. And actually, the tech stocks are holding up pretty well, and we still continue to see the S&P 500 all-time highs, NASDAQ kind of lagging a little bit, Dow Jones up near all-time highs, the Russell 2000 still going up, and crypto is just kind of being ignored. So you get a little bit of a run yesterday, and it's like, the NASDAQ was down yesterday, S&P 500 and Dow were down yesterday, but that was from all-time highs, or near all-time highs. And so no doubt there was some profit taking, and Bitcoin was going up. But then we see, Bitcoin went up, right? And we hit that top for Bitcoin, a local top, right under 98,000, and then it pulled back. So are we going to see this climb back up for Bitcoin back to 98K today? Or is this going to kind of be more of a crab market today? Today was going to be this big news, right? We're going to have all this big news about the Clarity Act, right? Not happening. So Bitcoin continues to decouple from the global M2 money supply into 2026. Because we were watching that in 2025, global M2, right? Global M2 going up, and Bitcoin was lagging, and at the end of 2025 actually pulled back further, ending the year, right, on a loss, while M2 was going up. These are based on percentages. And it's like, well, the crypto Twitter accounts continue to claim Bitcoin will catch up. But will it? The bull case is global easing begins, quantitative tightening winding down, quantitative easing wrapping up. Bitcoin begins to close the gap. M2 continues accelerating, but will Bitcoin actually close that gap? The bear case is that past M2 decouplings have often marked cycle tops. Crypto market grinds down into bear market phase. That's the 4-year cycle theory, right? And then new long-term risks, quantum, right? Quantum is going to be able to do all the password encryptions into wallets and all of that, right? That's the big FUD out there. And then wars, right? Are we going to get wars? Wars usually aren't good for crypto. So that adds more uncertainty, and the markets won't like that. And we may even see the stock market pull back too. That's the bear case. Although institutions still look at Bitcoin as long-term value, retail is instead chasing gold, silver, and stocks. It's not in crypto. It's just not in crypto. So here we are. This zone decides Bitcoin's next major move. If we reclaim it, right, this fair value gap right here, right? So if we get up there and we hit near the top, 102, 103,000, right? That'd be tapping the 50-week moving average. That is my case right here of a relief rally. And then we fall back down. That is the bear market. That's the bear market structure. If we're into this extended cycle or super cycle, we'll see this blue line and Bitcoin will go higher. Just in, President Trump said he can't remember promising American people $2,000 tariff checks. And I'm just like, of course, right? Of course. Change the narrative. No, I never said that. But of course he did. But we know what Scott Bessent was saying on the Treasury side. He said, yeah, they're not going to be checks. We'll be looking at tax breaks and things like that, but not checks. Now Trump is like, I don't remember saying that. It's like, okay. So no stimmy checks. Sorry, no stimmy checks in 2026. All those people were like, on crypto Twitter, $2,000 checks to everybody, send it. Like, bull run is going to continue. And it's just like, that's not happening. And of course, I always said that, but I didn't see that happening. So no stimmy checks, guys. What does it mean for Doge? Well, Trader Tardigrade is still very positive on Dogecoin and thinks that we're going to continue to close this shoulder. Of course, I was looking at the cup and handle, and we never really closed the cup and handle because we had to come up to this 15.4 line, which is the top of this little zone that Trader Allen is looking at. So we would really need to see 15.4 somewhere along the way, and that's not happening right now. So does an inverse head and shoulders really signal a breakout? That remains to be seen. Now, Dogecoin been around for a long time, for 12 years now. In fact, it was 12 years ago where Dogecoin actually traded into the top 10. We looked at this on the live stream yesterday. This is really the top 9 cryptos from 12 years ago. 2014, Dogecoin, $22 million market cap. a top 10 crypto 12 years ago. And guess what it is today? Still the 9th largest cryptocurrency, only it's $22 billion now instead of 22 million. Shows you how the crypto market has changed from 2014 right to 2026. But look at some of these other. I mean, Litecoin was the number 2. XRP was the number 3 back in 2014. Then we had Peercoin, Omni, NXT, Namecoin, and Quark. You guys know what those cryptos are? And they're gone, right? They're gone. They've been replaced by stable coins, Tether, right, in USDC. We have ETH here. ETH didn't even exist back in 2014. There's XRP still up there. BNB, Solana, and Tron are now up there. But there's Doge still, 12 years later, still a top 10 cryptocurrency. Now it drifted out of the top 10 back in like 2018, 2019. But it came roaring back, and here we are. A legitimate cryptocurrency still. Doge. People, oh, Doge is dead. I was like, $22 billion, or $24 billion now market cap. And you think Dogecoin is dead? No. Dogecoin gains Bitcoin status in Senate bill. Yes, Doge rallies, SHIB follows, right? That was yesterday. Whenever Doge rallies on news, right, SHIB will follow along. That's good. Awesome. SHIB. But SHIB is a token, does not have status at all, nor does Pepe, and nor does Ohm or Floki or any of those. Those are just meme tokens. Doge is the only meme coin because it's the one that has its own blockchain as a proof of work cryptocurrency. It's a coin. All those other memes are tokens. I continue to say that, and you guys hear me say that a lot. But what's this, right? So this was this Japanese graphic here, which was pretty cool. Here's Doge, right? XRP, Solana, right? They all have what? They have ETFs, right? They have ETFs, and with the Clarity Act, that basically says the language in the Draft Clarity Act is basically saying, hey, if you've got ETPs, right, or ETFs, exchange traded products, they're not really funds, they're really ETPs. We call them ETFs, that's fine. So they're on the same level as Bitcoin in the language in the Draft Clarity Act as being under the guidance of not the SEC, right? Not as a security, but rather as a commodity. So the CFTC, the US CFTC, is going to manage Dogecoin, along with Solana, XRP, and there's others as well that have ETPs. And that was by January 1st, and we had 2 for Dogecoin, and now a third spot ETF is coming out, 21 shares, who partnered with the House of Doge. So we're watching that. Is that going to be the end of this week, or is it going to be next week when it launches? Hey, as soon as I see it, I'll be letting you guys know. Always follow me on X. I am at ChrisPax. This is where I am when I'm not here on YouTube. I'm over on X, right? President Trump can't remember promising American people $2,000 tariff checks. Really? Can't remember that, right? Here's this global M2 thing. So I keep up to date on all the news over here. So follow me there. But for now, Bitcoin, are we going to get back up to 98,000? Is Doge going to reclaim 15 cents again and move higher? We'll be watching all of that. But Dogecoin's still legit. Too legit to quit, right? That's Dogecoin. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Dogecoin, the OG meme coin? Legitimate. It is legit. Give the video a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.